Hello, YouTube. This is another upload in relation to Captain Marvel Adventures number 27. Now, please bear with me because I am going to express my opinion in relation to the recent restored grade that I received. Now, there are 3 books that I submitted in the past. I documented all the work that I did in relation to my first Captain Marvel Adventures, number 11. This book, I leaf casted the spine, I reinforced the spine, I cleaned the cover. It is something where pieces were added in relation to leaf casting. As you can see, a whole portion of the back cover was leaf casted. The notes that CGC gave for this book included conservation includes leaf casting to cover an interior, cover and interior reinforced, cover cleaned, centerfold missing, and that is why it got a 0.5. So, all the work that I did in this book, I performed on this book. I did not deviate any of my procedures, practices, materials. In fact, I think I did better in this most recent book, Captain Marvel Adventures number 27, versus the Captain Marvel Adventures number 11. So why this now received a restore grade is puzzling. Let's fast forward to my Hulk 181. I received a 1.5 conserved on this book. The notes say leaf casting to cover. Obviously, there was leaf casting to this cover. There were pieces added to the cover. And despite all of the work that I performed that was documented, I received a conserved grade 1.5. The same work was performed on the Captain Marvel Adventures number 27. Isn't that strange? Bear with me. The last book that I want to use an example is Captain Marvel Adventures number 23. Now, this book, substantial conservation was performed, and the notes do say conservation includes tear seals to cover, cover reinforced, cover cleaned. Now, I did leaf casting on this book. They did not pick it up, or they did not note it in the notes. So, I performed the same work on that Captain Marvel Adventures that I did on this Captain Marvel Adventures number 27. So, I cannot explain the inconsistency. What I can explain are the notes for the Captain Marvel Adventures number 27 says cover clean, pieces added to spine, spine reinforced. Because I did leaf cast the spine. So there are, in my opinion, 3 possible reasons why this book, in contrast to these 3 books, received a restored grade. The first is that CGC, in conjunction or in concert with people in the community, were tipped off to my channel, and they were upset with what I do and the results that I obtain in relation to my books, and how sometimes I skirt past the process by not giving a note, and things pass by without being discovered by CGC. Because it is odd that Mike's book, the same book as this, a different book, but the same book in number and publication, also received a conserved grade because they picked up I cleaned the cover. So that's scenario number one. It's a vendetta against my channel, and CGC is trying to knock me down. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. The second scenario that I thought of, long and hard, is that CGC changed the standards they have in relation to conservation. So what does that mean? What it means is the common theme is that they are saying pieces added to cover. The pieces that I added to the cover were through leaf casting. So is it possible that CGC midstream, in the middle of grading, out of nowhere, just changed the standards? That is a reason that they would consider this restored, by adding pieces to the book. I added pieces to this book, to that book, and to the Hulk, and I still got conserved. But for some reason, adding pieces to the Captain Marvel Avengers number 27 may have triggered a restored grade. So what are we going to do? Because I like to have evidence. I like to have concrete proof. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to crack this book open in the next installment. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to remove all of the leaf casting. And once I remove all the leaf casting, I am going to reassemble the book, and I am going to send it in an express, and I want to see what grade I receive. Because then the only work that will be performed on this book would be having the cover cleaned. And I'm going to do this immediately, because if it does come back conserved, if it does come back as a blue and gray label, then it's very simple. CGC may have changed the standards in relation to leaf casting. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. So stay tuned, YouTube. Okay, YouTube, we are back. And there's one thing about my personality, is that if I feel like I am being wronged in some way, I take action. So what we're going to do is I'm going to crack this case. And as indicated in my last upload, I said that the reason why I'm going to crack the case is because I want to see if CGC changed their standards. Because in my opinion, there's no reason why I should have received a restored grade. And kudos to CGC, you really make... well, let's keep that to myself. I want to see if CGC changed the standards in relation to how they grade conserved books. And if they now all of a sudden view leaf casting as something that may trigger a restored grade, I think we should know. So there you go. There's the top cover with this fancy CGC logo, which I like. I am still a fan of CGC, but we're going to find out what the deal is with them. Okay, so I removed the case. You saw it was a little difficult to do. What we're going to do is we're going to take the restored label. I know you're supposed to send these in, and I will, and we'll put them with the Hulk 181. And what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna remove this book from the inner well, because we really want to send this book in, and we want to see if leaf casting now is something that triggers a grade to be restored, which based on my prior upload, it doesn't. So stay tuned. I'm going to stop the camera because I have to get close with my razor knife and I don't want to risk cutting the book. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, easy peasy. So this book is cut out, and I just cut 3 sides, take it out like a book. So this is the Captain Marvel Adventures that I worked on, and that I performed some slight leaf casting. Here is some leaf casting. I leaf casted the spine. I did a tear seal here. So I truly don't understand why there is a change of heart. Well, I gave the reasons why I think there may be. So what are we going to do? We're going to solve the issue. And by solving this issue, we will know whether now there is a change of position with CGC in relation to leaf casting. So what I'm going to do, and as you can see now, the actual centerfold became detached. So they didn't pick that up either. And I did not perform any tear seals, and maybe they did that when they were thumbing through the book, because when I sent the book in, the centerfold was attached. So let me take a look and see if the label says it. Restoration includes pieces added to cover, cover reinforced, cover cleaned. So there you go, guys. CGC manhandled it, and they detached the center fold and did not put that in the notes of the book. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is we're going to fix this centerfold before I send it in, and we're going to see if they pick it up. But the key thing that I want to do is I want to remove the staple, and you see how easy that was for me to do. We're going to remove it just like that. Okay, we're going to take it out. We're going to get some tape, and we're going to do my standard. We're going to do my standard T, which means top, because we do want to put the staple back in the same position. So I'm going to remove the staple, easy peasy. There we go. It is removed. I'm going to put it in my tape, just like that. And then I am going to, right now, get the cover ready, because we are going to remove all of the leaf casting that I did. And I just want to be clear, guys. The leaf casting that I did was very minimum, and I don't understand why they would deem it restoration, other than, like I said, them changing the formula, changing the grading criterias, or having a vendetta against me. But we're going to find out in a scientific way. We're not going to speculate, and we're going to do it the right way. So stay tuned. I'm going to prepare this for the actual removal of the leaf casting. Okay guys, I have it set up and we are going to remove it, but again, I'm still flabbergasted why this would be considered restored. I'm really leaning towards a vendetta against the channel because this work is equivalent to any of the work that I performed in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it upstairs and we're going to give it a soaking, and then we'll take off the conservation work that I performed, and you'll see the reason why it's conserved is because it will come off with plain water. So I'm going to do that and I'll bring it right back. Okay guys, the cover is back from me using Rame paper and removing the leaf casting. So here was leaf casting, here was leaf casting on the edges, the pieces that were missing. So I've done that with every book that I leaf casted, and we filled it in, and that's a part of the conservation process, in my opinion. So now they're changing the standards in saying that by doing that, perhaps it's adding pieces. I don't know. But all I do know is that I successfully removed the leaf casting, and that is why, guys, this is conservation, because you can remove it. It's not restoration. Conservation can be removed, and that's exactly what I did. So what I want to do now is I am going to set this up between my trusty pieces of glass, and I have to say I just evicted poor Dumbo because he was resting in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down because I want this to dry, and it's very important to dry flat. So I'm doing this relatively quick because I want to get this book back to CGC as soon as possible. So what I want to do, as I do many times, is let's try to straighten the spine out just a little bit better. And I'm going to actually pull it, and we're going to straighten this rame, making it nice and flat. And then I'm gently going to pull it so I can get it flat as possible, which I'm happy with the way it just happened. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my second piece of Rame paper on top, and call me fucking crazy, and I'm sorry I'm making it R-rated, but I'm pissed off. I do not like when things like this happen. I do not like things that are inconsistent. I do not like if there is a vendetta against me, because if there is a vendetta against me, I like to get even. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to change the papers frequently. And by changing the papers, as we know, it'll absorb the moisture and the book will dry flat. I'll change the paper probably in the next 15-20 minutes, and I'll continue doing this. And guys who watch me on YouTube and send me questions on Instagram about drying, leaf casting, and things of that nature, you have to do it between two rigid flat pieces of glass I like to use, and you have to change the paper towels. If you don't change the paper towels frequently, you're wasting your time. Look at all the moisture that developed. Okay, guys, so I'm going to pause it here, and then once it dries, I am going to check it out and see if I can just reinstall it, fold it, press it, and then it's off. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, I am done with putting the cover for the Captain Marvel Adventures in the press. or the glass press. I removed all of the actual leaf casting that I did, and I want to show you what it looks like. Now, as you can see, let me grab some craft foam so we can get a good perspective. Or actually, yes, let's grab some craft foam. And I'm in my tool chest now, so just bear with me, guys, getting what we need to look at in order to have a proper illustration. So, what we did is, I want to show you the extent of the leaf casting that was done. As you can see, this was all filled in here. All these ripped edges, this was filled in. The rip was filled in. This bottom corner was filled in. So all of this was filled in with leaf casting. And I've been thinking about it when the book or the cover was drawing. I had this dialed in. In my opinion, it was spot on, great work, no issue, because I never had an issue in the past with the prior books that I sent in. Now you can see I filled this in. I filled this in, this area. I filled this area. I fixed this right here. This was split. I fixed it. I fixed this tear here. All of these things I did within the same fashion that I did in the past with any book that I submitted to CGC. I removed it all. And there is no way that this work that I did is in fact a C1 designation. They didn't even say restoration includes leaf casting. They didn't even mention it. And I'm getting pissed off the more I think about it. All they said is pieces added to cover. I didn't add pieces, I leaf casted. That is within the framework of conservation work. I take this out all the time in the past. They're saying it has to be an A scale and a 1 quality, or an A quality and a 1 scale. That's not true, because a 1 scale of 1 is a small piece. And as you can see by the prior books, the Captain Marvel Adventures number 11, I leaf casted the whole back of the cover. So I have a problem with this, and I have a problem with CGC. And the more that I'm thinking about it, I think they're dialed in on my channel. And it's unfortunate because I recently did a book for Jim from Bronzeville Comics. And I hope it doesn't impact the grade that he is going to get. And it's unfortunate, but I honestly think CGC is monitoring my channel, my Instagram, or there's people who are calling them who may have worked for CGC in the past, because the work I did on this book is hell of a lot better than that stupid Hulk 181 that I worked on. And there's no comparison. This was seamless. You couldn't even notice the leaf casting. You see this? Now you see that big chunk? That was gone. It wasn't there. So I'm going to send this book in. I'm going to reassemble it quick. I'm disgusted with the book. I feel like throwing it out. I'm disgusted with CGC. And we're going to see what comes out of this book. We'll see whether we'll get a conserve grade, which I know it will, most likely. I used to know. So I guess with popularity, things happen maybe sometimes to the negative. So I'm going to assemble this book. I'm not going to show me assembling it. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to throw it off to CGC. But all I do know is that there's no way, shape, or form that this work that I did on this book is C1 quality. Come on, guys.